Hey, what's up, guys? It's Enigma Hood. And recently I've been having a lot of arguments, debates about the death penalty. And one of the most recurring arguments that I get from those who are opposed to the death penalty is you need to remove emotion from the justice system. The justice system isn't about emotion. That's what they keep saying. And this is horseshit. The justice system exists in the first place because we have emotion. Removing emotion from the justice system it makes the justice system itself meaningless. It's our desire for fair and just treatment that has built the justice system in the first place. Without that consideration, that emotional desire for fair and ethical treatment, that leads to stuff like social Darwinism. Kill the weak, only the strongest should survive. That kind of thing. We don't do that. We have consideration, a very strong consideration, for ethical treatment, moral treatment, and protecting the innocent. Because of that, we have an undue burden of proof on the prosecution to prove guilt. And I say undue, not because undue doesn't mean that they don't deserve it. Undue means that there is a clear bias in favor for that burden of proof. And you can have different burdens of proof, right? You can have preponderance of the evidence or beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay, those are two different standards. But whenever you're trying to prove guilt in a criminal trial, it's always beyond a reasonable doubt, which is the highest form of burden. That's the highest burden of proof that you can get. And this is not necessarily logical. It leads to very lengthy appeals processes. It leads to lots of trials, lots of money being spent. Okay? The criminal justice system is not about logic. It is heavily fueled by emotion, our emotional desire for fair and just treatment and protecting the innocent. But at the same token, you cannot deny other forms of emotion. You have to take it all into consideration, including vengeance. And that's what really annoys me about these people who are against the death penalty. I don't mind so much that they're against the death penalty. We can have a disagreement about that, okay? I'm for the death penalty, but not necessarily the way that America does it, because America does it in a very fucked up, shitty way to the point of where it's almost pointless. We can have a discussion about that. That's not the point. I want people to acknowledge that vengeance is an important part of criminal justice. And this is not just my opinion. Read any textbook on American criminal justice. The number one reason for why we punish anyone is out of a need for vengeance from the general public. And the irony, though, is that the people who are against the death penalty that I argue with are some of the most vengeful people. They are some of the angriest, most hostile people. They are the first ones to invoke ad hominem attacks and things like that. Lashing out, retaliation. What do you think that is? That is vengeance incarnate. And these idiots do not acknowledge it. Now, in Jungian psychology, there's this guy named Jung who described something about a characteristic that all human beings possess. And he called it the shadow. And the shadow represents all of the character traits that we all have that we don't consciously acknowledge. It contains all of our traits that we don't acknowledge. This can include, hatred, sadism, revenge, vengeance, retaliation. The desire for making people suffer for their crimes. Stuff like that. And he stated that if you don't acknowledge your shadow, you are destined to be ruled by it. You are destined to be consumed by it. And this manifests itself so blatantly whenever you argue with these people who are against the death penalty, because they they get on their high horse and they pontificate about the virtues of criminal justice and how you have to remove emotion from it. But when they don't acknowledge their shadow and their desire for vengeance, what they end up doing is enacting it themselves. They take vengeance. They retaliate. I've seen these guys go on sock puppet accounts and then start attacking me with juvenile ad hominems up the ass. Just attacking me blatantly. Why? Because they are vengeful. They are the most vengeful people. The shadow has been referenced in so many forms of media. If you played Persona, the video game, then you already know a little bit about the shadow. My favorite novel of all time, Sphere, goes into the shadow quite a bit as well. I'm going to read a little bit of it, and it'll give you a little bit of insight as to what it is. Jung broke with Freud early in the century and developed his own psychology. Jung suspected there was underlying structure to the human psyche that was reflected in underlying similarity to our myths and archetypes. One of his ideas was that everybody had a dark side to his personality, which he called the shadow. The shadow contained all of the unacknowledged personality aspects, the hateful parts, the sadistic parts, all that. Jung thought people had the obligation to become acquainted with their shadow side, but very few people do. We all prefer to think we're nice guys. We don't have the desire to kill and maim and rape and pillage. As Jung saw it, if you don't acknowledge your shadow side, it would rule you. And in this novel, they encounter an alien sphere. They go underwater. There's a spaceship in there, and inside there's an alien sphere. And that actually manifests a person's thoughts. And this one guy he kept on denying his emotions and tried to put on the facade of being a totally logical, matter-of-fact person. When he encountered the sphere, all of his emotional traits were manifested. And if you ever played the Persona, the video game, you can see people's shadow side being manifested as monsters and things like that. These are like tarot cards. It would be manifested as what they call like a persona. Obviously, in real life, we don't have monsters emerging from our bodies literally like that. But we all do still possess, that shadow side to ourselves, that dark side that we don't acknowledge. And while it doesn't manifest as monsters per se, it does manifest as lashing out. People who take their anger out on people who have nothing to do with the cause of their anger. I had a friend who had an ex-boyfriend who got mad at her every time he got frustrated with playing a video game. Like, what the fuck is that all about? That's a guy who is so vengeful, so hateful, that he's taking his hate and anger out on people who have nothing to do with his hate and anger. This happens to people who don't acknowledge that part of themselves. You have to admit that you possess anger and hate and you desire vengeance. If you deny those things, they will manifest themselves in reality with you becoming a monster, literally. You are the monster. It doesn't have to be a monster from a giant squid, as is the case of Sphere or a Persona. No, you become the monster. You become this demon that lashes out and hurts the people that you love, all because you can't admit, you're so insecure and weak that you can't admit that you possess vengeance. People are cowards as far as I'm concerned. If you don't admit that the justice system is emotionally fueled and we have to take into consideration vengeance, then that leads to even more destructive behavior. That's all I gotta say. This is Enigma Hood signing off.